Anyone in for lunch today? No bread making, just eating. Marcus looked at me with a grin. You in? And without hesitation, I said, yeah, I'm in. Not because I needed another meal, not because I needed another story, but because, for the first time in a long time, I felt connected. Accidentally, genuinely, quietly, the kind of connection you don't plan for, the kind you don't force, the kind that shows up when you stop chasing the right plan long enough for the wrong one to find you. And as we started walking again, Marcus nudged me and said, bet your history tour didn't feel like this. I laughed. No, I said, probably not. We kept moving through the city, not following a group this time, not trying to catch up, not trying to be anywhere specific, just walking, side by side, and for once that was enough. Weeks later, long after I left Portugal, long after the flower smell faded from my backpack, I finally understood why that day stayed with me. It wasn't the bread, it wasn't the bakery, it wasn't even the group. It was the reminder, a soft one, that not every wrong turn is a mistake. Sometimes the wrong group teaches you more than the right path ever could. Because here's the truth I didn't see that morning in the square. I had been living my life like that history tour, scheduled, expected, predictable, everything on time, everything controlled. And for the first time in a long time, I let go. I followed something I didn't recognize. I got lost on purpose. Or maybe purpose found me. The people I met that day, I never saw most of them again. Marcus sent me photos of the bread we baked and then drifted into his own journey. The Brazilian sisters emailed me once to say they were speaking again. The Canadian couple sent a postcard that simply said, "Thank you for sitting with us." And the guide? He never asked for anything. Not money, not credit, not recognition, just a smile when I left, and a simple sentence that still sticks with me. You were meant to be here today. At the time, I thought it was just something nice he said. Now I'm not so sure. Because sometimes life doesn't shout the important things. Sometimes it whispers them in flour-dusted bakeries. Sometimes it hands you an apron you didn't ask for. Sometimes it shows you people you never planned to meet. And all you have to do is say yes before your fear says no. That's what really happened when I followed the wrong tour group. It wasn't a mistake. It was a beginning. And if you're listening to this somewhere on your own path, maybe this is your reminder. Let yourself follow the wrong group once in a while. You might end up finding exactly what you didn't know you were looking for. The dinner changed everything. The bakery was different at night, quieter, dimmer, more intimate, candles on the countertops, wine glasses already set, the smell of roasted vegetables drifting through the air. Marcus waved me in like I was late to my own birthday party. The others greeted me with the same warmth as the morning. And somehow, over glasses of Vinho Verde and plates of still warm food, the group opened up in ways strangers rarely do. People shared things, why they were traveling, what they were running from, what they hoped to find. The retired Canadian couple talked about losing their son the year before, and how traveling had become the only thing that made their days feel full again. The Brazilian sisters admitted they had been fighting for months and took the trip to fix things. Marcus confessed he'd quit his job without telling anyone yet. And then someone asked me, "What about you? What brought you here?" I hesitated. It felt weird to admit the truth, that I'd just joined the wrong group because I was clueless and late. But they waited, patient and genuine. So I told them everything. And they laughed, not at me, but with me, like they understood something deeper. that sometimes life pushes you into the places you didn't plan to go, just so you'll meet the people you didn't know you needed. Good people, kind people, strangers who didn't stay strangers for long. The guide brought out one last loaf of bread, a huge round one, beautifully browned. "This," he said, "is the bread we make when the group is complete." Someone elbowed me gently. "You made the group complete." It caught me off guard. The sincerity of it, the softness. I wasn't used to that kind of thing coming from people I'd known for less than a day. But I felt it. A small, unexpected connection. A reminder that belonging doesn't always come from planning. Sometimes it comes from accidents. The city lights flickered on the cobblestones. The air smelled of sea salt and warm dough. And for the first time on that trip, I felt settled. Not lost, not late, not in the wrong place. Just there. Exactly where I was supposed to be. Before I turned the corner, the guide leaned out the bakery door and called after me. "Hey, remember, follow the wrong group again sometime. You never know what you'll bake next." His voice carried across the quiet street, light and cheerful. I smiled because he was right. Sometimes the best stories begin with a mistake. I walked back toward my hostel with the bread bag swinging lightly at my side, still warm through the paper. Lisbon at night had that soft hum. Not loud, not chaotic, just alive enough to remind you that you weren't alone. And yet as I walked, something quiet settled in my chest. A kind of understanding I didn't have words for yet. I thought about the morning, how stressed I'd been, how annoyed at myself, how ready to chalk the day up as a failure before it even began. And then I thought about the bakery table, the flour on my hands, the laughter, the stories people shared even though they didn't owe me anything. It hit me gently, like a small truth landing after a long flight. None of it would have happened if I hadn't messed up. I woke up early, opened the paper bag, and took a bite of the bread I'd baked. It wasn't good, not really. A little dense, a little chewy, but it tasted like the kind of day you remember for a long time. I stepped outside and began walking toward the river when I heard someone call my name. "Hey, baker guy!" It was Marcus, waving from across the street like we'd known each other for years. He jogged over, slightly out of breath. "You heading somewhere?" he asked. "Nowhere specific," I said. "You?" "Same. Want to walk together?" It was such a small question, but somehow it felt like the real continuation of yesterday. We wandered along the waterfront, talking about everything and nothing. Travel, work, life, the weird ways people end up in the right place at the wrong time. He told me he wasn't sure what he was going home to, or if he was ready to go home at all. "Travel does that," I said. "Makes you see your life from the outside." He nodded. "Yeah," he said quietly. "It's easier to breathe out here." We kept walking until we reached a small outdoor cafe. The owner recognized Marcus. Apparently he'd been there the day before, and immediately brought us 2 espressos without asking. I watched the morning sunlight hit the tiles on the buildings across the street. That golden Lisbon shimmer again, almost unreal. "You're lucky, you know," Marcus said suddenly. "Why?" "Because you followed the wrong group," he said, "and somehow ended up exactly where you were supposed to be." Nobody had phrased it that clearly yet. I didn't answer right away. Not because I disagreed, but because something inside me unwound a little when he said it. Like I finally understood what the day had been trying to teach me. He slapped my dough like it owed him money. The rest of the morning passed in a blur of warm flour, laughter, and terrible kneading attempts. I learned how to fold the dough, how to stretch it, how to feel its texture with the soft part of my hand. The group included a retired couple from Canada, two sisters from Brazil, and a guy named Marcus who looked like he'd wandered in from a surfboard catalog. And they welcomed me like I'd always been one of them. During a break, we stepped outside to cool off. The sun hit the street with that gentle, golden Portuguese glow. Someone handed me a cup of water. Someone else cracked a joke about my dough looking like a deflated basketball. And then Marcus nudged me. "So," he asked, "what class are you supposed to be in right now?" "History tour," I said. He laughed so loud he scared a pigeon off a windowsill. "Man, this is way better. You don't get bread on a history tour." He wasn't wrong. When the workshop finally ended, the entire group sat around the bakery's big table and ate the bread we'd baked together. Mine was lopsided, uneven, embarrassingly underbrowned. But everyone tore pieces off and complimented it anyway. And then, the strangest moment of the day happened. The guide took a small paper bag, filled it with leftover flour, tied it with a string, and handed it to me. "For your next mistake," he said. I laughed. "What do you mean?" "You stumbled into the wrong place," he said. "But maybe the wrong place was exactly where you needed to be today." There was something oddly comforting in the way he said it, like he'd seen this happen before. Like people end up where they belong, even when they don't mean to. I slipped the warm loaf of bread into my backpack. I slipped the little flour bag into the front pocket. And before leaving, I thanked everyone, genuinely, because somehow, a simple mistake had turned into the most unexpected highlight of my trip. But the real twist didn't hit me until later. I walked back to the main square, following the same narrow streets we took that morning. When I reached the fountain, I saw the group I was supposed to be with, the actual history tour, just finishing. I stood there for a moment, watching them, listening to the guide talk about old statues and royal families, hearing words I would have heard if I'd arrived on time. And for the first time that day, I thought, maybe I didn't join the wrong group at all. Maybe I joined the right one, just not the one I expected. I was about to walk away from the square when the history guide noticed me standing there, holding a warm loaf of bread, like some kind of medieval offering. He waved, I waved back. And then he called out, "You made it. We waited for you earlier. Everything okay?" I walked closer, awkwardly clutching my bakery bag. "Yeah," I said, "I got sidetracked." He smiled politely, the way guides do when they have no idea what that means and don't have time to find out. "Well, no worries. Hope you enjoyed your morning anyway." I nodded, but inside something shifted, because I had enjoyed my morning. More than if I'd shown up on time, more than if I'd followed the plan. I don't know why, but that thought stayed with me the rest of the day. Hours later, the real twist happened. I checked my phone that afternoon just to see what I'd missed on the actual tour. Museums, famous viewpoints, a pastry tasting. All nice things, but none of them felt personal. Then I noticed a new message in the group chat the bakery guide had added me to before I left. "Dinner tonight, same group, same bakery, 7 p.m. I didn't know these people. I didn't know if they really wanted me there. The accidental outsider. But my hands typed before I could overthink. I'll be there. I was already running late that morning in Lisbon. The kind of late where you jog walk but pretend you're not out of breath. My phone said the history tour was meeting in the big square by the fountain. Easy enough, except when I got there, The square looked like someone had dropped 3 different tour groups into a blender. Umbrellas everywhere. Red ones, blue ones, yellow ones. People crowding around, checking their phones, clumping into circles like confused penguins. A woman with a bright yellow umbrella shouted, "Okay, everyone, follow me." And without thinking, without checking if this was my tour, I just joined the herd. The crowd moved and I moved with it. It felt right for the first 30 seconds. We turned down a narrow street, then another, then another. No history talk, no architecture facts, no mention of explorers or sea routes. Just silence. Then the guide suddenly spun around, clapped his hands dramatically and said, "All right, bakers, who's ready to make some dough?" I froze. Bakers? Dough? And that's when I realized 2 very important things. This was not a history tour. I had apparently joined a Portuguese artisan bread workshop. Before I could slip away unnoticed, the guide pointed directly at me. "You, new guy, you're with us, right?" I had no idea why my brain betrayed me, but I nodded like an absolute idiot. "Great," he said. "You look like you need dough with passion." The whole group laughed. Friendly, warm, already bonded by 3 days of classes together. And now I was one of them, somehow. I tried again to sneak out the back, but the street was so narrow that leaving would have meant pushing past 20 people, 2 backpacks, and a woman holding a bag of flour like it was a newborn baby. So I swallowed the embarrassment and kept walking with them. We arrived at a tiny bakery tucked between 2 tile-covered buildings. Inside, the air smelled like heaven. Warm bread, cinnamon, maybe a hint of orange peel. The kind of smell that makes you forget every mistake you've made, including accidentally joining a foreign bread school. The guide introduced me to the group as if I'd been there all week. "This," he announced proudly, "is our newest baker." Everyone clapped. I wanted to evaporate, but then something surprising happened. They made space for me. They handed me an apron, and before I knew it, I was standing at a wooden table, poking dough like I knew what I was doing. For the first time that day, I relaxed a little. Maybe it wasn't the tour I meant to take, but something about the moment, the warmth, the laughter, the smell of rising dough, felt strangely right. And then the guide walked over, leaned close and whispered, "You know, you don't look like one of my students." My heart stopped, but before I could answer, he smiled. Not suspicious, not annoyed, just curious. "So, what brought you to us?" His question hit me so gently, yet so directly, that all the excuses I'd been preparing dissolved instantly. I opened my mouth, ready to confess everything, but the guide raised a hand before I could speak. "Relax," he said with a half smile. "I'm not kicking you out. I'm just curious." The room felt warm, the kind of warm that comes from ovens and good intentions. The other students were shaping dough into neat little rounds, talking softly, laughing like old friends. Nobody was paying attention to me, the accidental intruder. So I took a breath and told him the truth. "Honestly, I think I joined the wrong group." The guide stared at me for a second and then burst out laughing. Not mocking, just genuinely amused. "Oh my God," he said, wiping his eyes. "You've been with us for 30 minutes, and you just now realized?" "No," I said. "I realized right away. I didn't know how to leave." He shook his head and put both hands on my shoulders. "Listen, you can leave. Or..." He looked around the bakery, at the people, at the messy tables, at the bubbling dough that looked like it had a heartbeat. "When or you can stay. Up to you." That surprised me. I expected rules, structure, a stern, "You're not on the list." But he didn't care. This wasn't a cruise ship check-in. It was a tiny bakery on a side street in Lisbon, filled with people who simply liked making bread together. And leaving suddenly didn't feel like the best option anymore. "I'll stay," I said. "Good," he replied, "because your dough is rising too fast."